Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're glad you joined us today. We got a really good one for you. Here we have a golf club head and a golf club shaft that's broken. Now we got to fix it. Y'all come in and join us. So guys, with the golf club shaft, this club just broke out of pure randomness. We had no clue that it was going to happen, no sign of failure. Nothing indicating that this was going to happen. The hole before, par 3, 205 yards, smacked this 4-iron. By the way, JPX 919, really great club. Smacked this 4-iron, 205 yards. No indication, no problem. Next hole on a par 5, going for the green in 2. Hit the ball, club head went flying. Ended up just holding a broken shaft in my hand. Ball went flying as well. But nonetheless, now we got to fix it. So anytime you have a broken shaft, the way I like to do it is just take a drill and drill out what's remaining in here. So I took a 7/32 drill bit, drilled through the old graphite shaft and the epoxy that was down in here. Got all of that out first. And then once I got all that old shaft and epoxy out as much as I could, I came out, got my torch, just a regular torch, fired it up, and then you just want to heat the hosel to break up the remaining epoxy and to get the rest of the shaft out. So I heated it up, got it good and hot, let the epoxy break down, and then I just took my drill with a brush I got off of Amazon, which by the way guys, this club repair, less than $20 minus the shaft itself. Take your drill, wire brush on the end, you can get these on Amazon. Clean it out real good after you have it hot. That's going to get all the remaining epoxy, any dirt, anything out of there, so that you can put the new shaft in it. So once you have this cleaned out, you have your shaft. Bought this shaft on eBay. It is a UST Recoil ES. Has a smack wrap on it. I really like the sound of the smack wrap. It is a regular flex. It is tapered to 0.355 taper shaft. Go ahead and put your ferrule on it. Got these off of Amazon as well. Really nice price on them. Slide your ferrule up past the rough part that you're going to put the shaft in. The reason you want to slide it past is so that once you have your epoxy on here, you can then slide it down against it and you'll know that this is bottomed out. We also cut this shaft down about 1.5 inches. It is now down to a standard 4-iron length, which is what I cut it to for my particular golf game. So, shaft's been cut, everything's ready. We're gonna stick this in, show you how it goes in, show you what to do with it, and then we'll put a grip on it tomorrow after this epoxy sets up. All right guys, got some golf epoxy here for golf shafting. You get these brand new, you gotta take this little black piece out. You're just gonna pop that out. That's gonna go back on the end of it once we get done with it. And then right here on the end, break this part off. You may have some goo come out of it. Perfectly fine. Now, I don't use shafting beads on my golf clubs unless they are extremely loose. So if you have a golf club that you put it in the hosel and it's really loose, then you can use some shafting beads. On this one in particular, fits in there very snugly. So there's really no need for shafting beads. A lot of people tell you gotta have it. I disagree with that. I only put it in situations where I have a very loose hosel versus my shaft. And that's not the case with this one. This one here is really good. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take out a little bit of epoxy. You don't need much for one club. We're gonna use this package that it came in. We're just going to give it a nice little squirt out here out of both sides. There we go. And you really don't need this much for one golf club. But I had to do that because the clear had an air bubble in it. And then, like I said, put your cap back on it. Put the cap on it. And then you got epoxy for next time as well. All right, guys, this is 24 air epoxy. So now we have to mix it up here. We're gonna mix the clear and the black together. Get all this mixed up really well. Now, if you were using shafting beads, which you can, but I am not on this one in particular, you'd want to put your shafting bead right down into your epoxy. Use very little, it doesn't take much. It is just to stabilize the club. So all you'd have to do is just put a little bit of shafting beads in it and just mix that in with your epoxy. Once you get it mixed up, guys, it's time to start putting it on the down in the hosel and on the shaft itself. All right, guys, I'm about to drip. Let's try that again. Just gonna get some epoxy, stick it down in the hosel. You don't have to put a lot in here, but I do like to get a decent amount so that I know this is gonna stick. All right, and then once I have the hosel done, then I'm gonna take some more epoxy and I'm gonna put it on the end of the shaft. I'm gonna put a fine coat of epoxy around the end of the shaft. Tell you guys a little trick with this epoxy. It's also going to get up in the end of the club because it's going to shoot some out. But as you can see, there's a hole in the end of the shaft. I like to go ahead and just smear some in the bottom of that. That way I know I'm getting epoxy in it as well. All right, and that's all you really need, guys. And then we're going to piece this together. And then we're going to just turn it. I'm going to let it set just a little bit before I push my ferrule down. Because, alright, I'm going to go get a paper towel. Paper towel, so then clean off any excess epoxy. We do have a little bit on here, so we're going to clean that off. Now we're going to slide the ferrule down under that. Now, if you have a graphite shaft, do not tap it on the concrete. Tap it onto something padded so that you don't bust the fibers up in the shaft. And then just rotate it to where you want the alignment to be of this shaft. And I just eyeball all mine. And that looks pretty good. And then we're just gonna leave it for 24 hours. Let it cure. Once the epoxy's cured, we'll come back. We'll put a grip on it and this thing will be good to go. So guys, this is the sandpaper I use. I just use this to rough up the bottom of the shafts before I stick them in so that your adhesive and your epoxy has something to stick to. I also just use a small hacksaw blade when I cut any shaft down. I usually do it by hand. It's not really hard. Just take your shaft, work it back and forth really slowly. You can use a regular hacksaw. Just be careful so that you don't split anything. Just be careful so that you don't split the fibers in the shaft. And yeah, guys, $20 golf shaft fix. That's how you reshaft one. Join us for our next video where we show you how to put a grip on it. Thanks, guys. God bless you.